Good evening, everyone. So I have been on a lot of forums and I've also been hearing from clients asking questions about the housing market being a bubble, right? And I hear this term all the time and it drives me a little bit crazy because I love data, right? We talk about this all the time. And I want to share with you a couple of things around the market and why this is not a bubble like it was back in 2008. So I'm going to apologize for looking down for a moment or two because I have a lot of data here and not all of it's in my brain. So I want to share it with you and make sure you understand it. So first of all, housing supply is extremely limited, right? So we know this. There's multiple offers, buyers, blah, blah, blah. But what's driving that, right? And as we know, supply and demand is a kind of a law, right? So the price of any market item is based upon supply and demand. If supply is high and demand is low, prices increase. I mean, they normally decrease. That drives the price down, right? So supply is high, demand's low, price goes down. If a supply is low and demand is high, prices naturally increase. Well, if we're 39% below what our current inventory normally should be, we are seriously going to push those prices up, right? Now, that's a given. That's easy. But when we talk about things like mortgage rates being historically low, suddenly that price increase becomes more affordable and really it kind of balances it out a bit. So when you think about this bubble concept, it's not necessarily the truth there. Now move that to real estate. In real estate, we have a concept of months of inventory on the market. And from 2006 to 2008, the months went from 5 months to 11 months. It skyrocketed, right? Which meant that someone dumped a ton of inventory into that marketplace. And with a normal market being around 6 months, we have been under 5 months for the last 3 years, right? So remember, supply is low, prices increase. Supply is low. That's a very important market factor. Now, let's talk about the housing demand, right? And everyone talks about the mortgage industry and how it was like 2008 and they're causing this problem. Well, that is not in fact true. During the housing crisis, there was a frenzy of people that bought houses, right? We cashed out like billions, $824 billion out of our houses, literally taking money out of them, right? And all those mortgages that were out there created this artificial inflation. And to give you the exact numbers, right? And the Mortgage Credit Availability Index measures availability of mortgages and loans for people. In 2006, it hit the highest ever, 868. Today, it's currently at 122.5. Meaning it's harder to get a loan because we learned our lesson from that time, right? And that's the key. Now, last but not least, talking about plenty of equity in homes, right? So back in 2006, 7, 8, don't you remember the pictures that we saw in 2010 online of this cute little house that looked like every other neighborhood and it was in foreclosure, but they had 2 Range Rovers in the driveway? Well, that was because people used their houses as ATM machines, right? They took cash out, cash out, cash out till they had nothing left. They cashed out $824 billion in equity that they could have had. That's good retirement, by the way. They could have had, and they used their houses as ATMs. Now, today, fast forward, right? 38% of the homes in the US are owned free and clear. No mortgage, right? That's an amazing number, amazing amount of equity. But then also 18.7% of all the houses in our market have 50% equity. Wow, 50% equity. That's a big difference from cashing out and using your house as an ATM machine back in 2008. So when people talk about the housing bubble, we really need to talk about the data and the facts. Yes, we have low inventory. There's lots of driving factors that are causing low inventory. But the problem today is buyers are having a really hard time finding homes. And I get it. Like everyone's buyers are having a hard time, right? You got to put together your best package. That means clean up your credit, get your ratios good, get the best loan program. If you can get a loan program that will get you into a place that pre-approves you, essentially underwrites you in advance, that is a really powerful tool because it's good as cash. There are a lot of mechanisms you can use to do that. But at the end of the day, this is absolutely nothing like 2008. And COVID has taught us a few critical lessons that we need to learn, right? Millennials, love you. You are our marketplace right now. You've reached the age where that you want to buy a home and that you want to have all these assets that are going to appreciate over time. But the most important factor is really COVID. COVID has changed the dynamic of the way that we operate. Every day is a work from home day, right? For most. spaces, offices, learning places in the home are now things that don't happen in small lofts or other places because there's just not enough space. So we've learned that we don't have to go to the office anymore. And now we can actually go get places we want to own and live in. And that is the reason why this is not a bubble. This is not, we've had driving factors around this for years that are contributing to it, but this is no bubble and this is nothing like 2008. I would appreciate your comments below. Love to answer any questions you have.